All right, we're live. Let's see how many people over on YouTube watching.
Josh, how's my video coming, buddy? You working on it?
What do I owe you?
Damn it, I hoped you would remember.
What am I supposed to be working on for you? I don't know.
I think it was the SQL one, wasn't it?
The SQL admin or the SQL stacks? SQL stacks, right? I'm gonna put that onto my task list right now so then I don't forget. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Good call. I got my new reminders set up here, so it's kind of nice. SQ Lite
Oh, shot's coming.
video. So I've been getting into OBS. Because I help my church has been doing some like Friday night like meeting thing. Then they needed help live streaming it because like a lot of people can't make it to it. So I helped them set it up, and I created this whole like thing with loopback and audio hijack and like an additional USB sound card, because like they have a mic system that goes to a Bose speaker, and then I've got that coming as an input into the computer, and then also they play videos on the computer, so I have to have that audio come back out of the computer back to that same speaker. So it's kind of like a loop. You have to be careful. It's because it's like it comes in and out the same speaker. So whatever input the mic is comes out through the output, but also then whatever comes from the computer goes back in the input. So you have to like use audio hijack to be able to do ducking, which is pretty crazy. But then I've learned about like essentially what Isaiah, remember Isaiah did that presentation in that the 1 year, and he was using his camera as his presentation for OBS.
Yeah.
That's what you're not supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is in OBS, you can actually right click and set one of your displays as the projector. And then when you go into Zoom, share that display. And then OBS controls what's being viewed on that display, and then that's what's actually shared. So the camera has a high, like a resolution limit. So when you're sharing it to your camera, that's why everything was blurry. We couldn't see it because it won't give you full resolution. But if you're doing shared desktop and set OBS to present to that desktop, then you're set.
See you later, Scott.
So,
during the summit, that's sort of what I do. So I use Wirecast. Wirecast has a virtual camera out.
Yeah.
And basically whatever the output is from whatever I mix goes out as a virtual camera. Then on Zoom, I set that as the webcam, basically.
Yeah, so that's the thing. OBS has the camera option as well, but you don't get as high quality as sharing a desktop.
Interesting.
So what's really cool is we did a so we were using actually funny enough, I was using the MacBook Pro that I picked up. So I was running a secondary monitor beside the MacBook Pro, and then I'm connected a projector to the MacBook Pro. So I have two displays. The projector that's in the auditorium, that's what we present as the OBS primary screen. And then we can control from the two screens, we can control everything that we need. And then we would, it was actually live streaming to sessions. So we'd share the projector screen on sessions, and then everything we did was properly controlled. Like, and it worked really well.
Sessions just did like some sort of big update. I got an email. I haven't seen what they did. Did you check out what that was?
I haven't looked at that yet. No, I just got your email finally.
Oh yeah, people will eventually show up. It's all good. The people that matter are here now. How's it going, David?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. I just started to watch something because your email when you came in a minute ago.
Yep. Yeah. So yep. It's all good. I was a little slow to the trigger this morning, so yeah.
Yeah.
I was high like, what can I do a live stream about? And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a hangout.
That's handy, actually. So I'm
Yeah.
glad Josh is here, but I just missed Scott.
Yeah, apparently he had a visitor come in, so he had to jet.
Yeah, because
And
I
Sean's
believe
here, and it's not the
Scott
middle of the night.
Sorry?
Sean's here, and it's not the middle of the night. It's crazy for him.
No, it's
I
only three
know.
hours difference from here.
Very confusing, Joe.
I mean, it's still 10:40 at night, but you know, it's not
Yeah.
the middle of the night at least.
Exactly.
You know.
Dedication. I love it, Sean.
If that's all I've got, mate, I'm happy.
I end up finding this app on the App Store called Touch Portal,
Yeah.
and it supports all the way back to iOS 12, and it essentially turns your iOS device into like a Stream Deck.
Oh, okay.
So then I'm actually able to use my iPad mini, which is like second gen, and the app still runs on it.
Nice.
And I can do a fully customized panels, unlimited. I think you can have like unlimited panel screens and up to 140 icons crammed on one screen if you wanted to.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
So and then ended up purchasing, like, it has a whole bunch of add-ons like you can upgrade in the app, but I ended up spending like $30 to get all the things I wanted. And that's still, like, you look at your cheapest, even like the Stream Deck Mini is still like $70.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So-
bought the bigger Stream Deck. Well, I think they have newer ones now. The newer ones now have like more kind of like dials and buttons and stuff, which looks kind of interesting. But I got the one that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 4, so 32 buttons. And I don't use hardly any of them. Like I mean I do use it, but it's
Well, see, what's
it's
cool
like so
is that
many non-used buttons. It's not even funny.
inside of OBS, I have the Move add-on, and it's like a transition pack. Or it's like a Move source transition. So inside of your scene, you can create filters, and your filter would have different positions of your sources. So then, like, your webcam can slide back and forth. So then you can add all of those as your buttons. So I'm going to end up having like different boards for different stream use cases. But yeah, no, helping them set up their system. I'm actually meeting them up tomorrow to do a final, because like we had a bit of an audio. I have to solve an audio issue. I accidentally, and I think it was just because I had pass through enabled on loopback, so audio that shouldn't have been getting sent through was getting sent through. But it's crazy what you can do with just apps.
Yep, 100%. Pretty cool.
Just a quick question. Am I correct
Sure.
in saying that Scott Williams produced the Vibracart stacks
He did
rather than
not.
Adrian?
He did not. That was Bill.
Oh yeah, what's his face?
Is it Adelstein? No.
Oh, is that
It's
someone to
Bill.
do with Adrian?
Stackits. I think it's Bill Adelstein.
Oh,
He used
right.
to join
Yeah,
the
that's not a
Hangouts all the
problem. I
time,
just
but he
thought
hasn't
that Scott
joined
had
for
done it.
a long time. No, it wasn't Scott. It was Bill. And I believe his last name is Adelstein. He runs Stackits. He did the what's his stack set? The database thing.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't remember.
he renamed it.
Yeah, I forget what he named it, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's not important, because I was talking to Adrian the other day about something, and but I've been starting to do some donation buttons.
Okay.
And the only problem is, I know certain things are set up on the MyQSL database, like populating what's on the button and so forth, and other
Yeah.
things you can do in the stack. But whatever I do, I've got the box. Well, I've either got a nice white box with the donation bit offset with a pound sign in it. I've got the pound sign there, a white bit, and a donation button.
Okay.
And I put it in a no columns or nothing, and it still stays the same.
I've been thinking about eventually after CMS3 launches, I may possibly do a update to my SiteLock stacks, probably a paid upgrade. Although I don't know if I should rename them or not, because people have been asking me for some stuff for ViberCart, and I'm like, well, my stack set's called SiteLock. Should I have ViberCart stuff in it, and still call it SiteLock? I don't know. But then also, another thing I think would be cool is to integrate SiteLock data and ViberCart data and that stuff into Twig. And so I can make Twig extensions for SiteLock and ViberCart in Total CMS. So like you could use it all together. So that could be kind of cool. Being able to, let's say Visalock is just like a Twig statement, like if logged in, blah, that'd be pretty cool. But with that said, I do also plan on Total CMS 3 will have some sort of authentication system. I haven't built it yet. And actually that might be one of the things that I put off until after the release, since I know a lot of the initial users of Total CMS are going to be people that have like PageSafe and SiteLock anyway.
I found a button in ViberCart where you can click a button, it uses PageSafe.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I haven't tried that bit yet because I don't know how it works.
Okay.
There's nothing in the literature.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't even know. That's cool.
PageSafe
is a really good stack.
I think Scott worked with Adrian to get integration for PageSafe to be able to unlock. It unlocks SiteLock essentially.
Yeah.
Really?
I
didn't even know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, there's actually a button in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I only found it the other day.
That's crazy. So SiteLock integrates with PageSafe?
Oh yeah, there's a PageSafe integration. You didn't know this? I'm sure you knew this.
Dude,
Scott talked to you about this. I remember seeing that chat. I
don't remember it.
I'm gonna find it right here. I'm gonna show you
where do you put the PageSafe then, Josh? For it to
Hold on, let me look at the configuration.
I suppose when I haven't ticked the box, so you tick the box and you get some other boxes open.
Why would you want PageSafe if you already have SiteLock though? That doesn't make any sense.
Hold on.
How's it going, Steve? Long time no see, buddy.
Yeah, been dealing with some health issues.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, sorry to hear that. Glad you're feeling better though.
Oh, I know
Excellent.
Josh uses ViberCart. He might be able to help me with my little button problem.
Is that in ViberCart, David, or is that in PageSafe? I mean, in
actually, I haven't been into SiteLock for ages. I've been playing with the ViberCart.
Must be ViberCart then.
Yeah, let me check here.
I'll log in. So I found it several times. Which when you're in the
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where it is now.
Tools, I think, configuration. There's so
yeah.
many.
So what it is, Joe, is
in configuration.
It's in ViberCart.
Oh, okay.
And there's a setting that allows PageSafe access to the dashboard, so it bypasses ViberCart's login process.
Oh, okay.
So you set what your PageSafe ID is. So if you log in as that PageSafe user, you get access to ViberCart admin.
Okay.
So if someone buys ViberCart and doesn't have SiteLock, you can get into your ViberCart admin without. You don't have to have two logins. You can use PageSafe as a login method for ViberCart.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because in the ViberCart you can only set up one login. Apparently, that's all I managed to do.
Yeah, so this will just override it and allow you to use a PageSafe ID
and
as
put
your
multiple
login
ones
method.
in. Brilliant, because I wanted to do that. Excellent. Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I practically have every site I use SiteLock on now, just because of all the email template stuff, which is just so useful.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's one thing that's really, really nice about SiteLock is that he built so much stuff around users and email templating, and it does a lot. It does a lot, actually.
Well, I quite
Right.
like, because I've got to use that messaging system that Davide was showing a couple of weeks ago as well.
Oh, is that I know, is that Blab or is it something
No,
different?
it's a site lock add-in.
Yeah, I think it's
for
called
messaging.
Blab, or at least it used to be called Blab.
Yeah.
I do have a stack for it. I think a Blab stack.
Yeah, it's just so like users can talk to each other and that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
so most,
I think it's called Blab.
yeah, you
I
could be right.
yeah. Although part of me feels like it got renamed recently within the last couple of years, maybe because Blab was a weird word. I don't know.
At least everything's starting to work together.
Yeah, I love it when things work together. It's great. You know, that's why I really strive to make a lot of my products like they're very specialty, but they're open so that they work with other
Modular.
things. Um, so yeah, I think making your products open and integratable with other things is powerful. Like for example, like bento and feeds or feeds with anything, right? Block grids or all that stuff. I mean, it's just the way and I didn't do anything special in those other products. Well, I guess I built those products so that they're open so that they can be extended with tools like feeds or in the future Total CMS 3, or actually right now with Total CMS 3, if you're using the beta. So yeah, exciting.
Well, feeds works well with SiteLock and MyQSL anyway, so
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
good. I'll just show you what this button looks like because you might say, "I'll
Sure.
just do this," but I don't think it's that easy to fix somehow.
Yeah, of course you can show off. Let's help you out.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's your page safe button.
Oh yeah, look at that. Page saves login access to the dashboard. That's cool. I totally forgot that was a thing.
So if we go over to this one and scroll down a bit, I've asked him for some multilingual content, so I should have some next week.
Excellent.
So this is what I'm getting at the moment. It's either that or that's the normal version, and that's what I've been playing around with doing.
Wait, show the normal version again. Oh, so what is that? What stack is that?
Well, that's a VibraCart Pro button.
Okay, and what is the text input?
Well, that's the
CMS there.
Is that
yeah,
coming
this bit
from?
here is just that's the well, if we go back to number one, what
Mm-hmm,
should have is like that's the pound sign up there. This is the donation amount.
mm-hmm,
You can actually set up VibraCart so you can actually make it a bit more or less.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it would
But
be nice
this
if
is
that
not
if that could be
showing
styled
with that.
nicely. Yeah.
And I
How are
take it
you
out of
expecting it to
here
be
and put it
displayed?
full screen. It still does the
Wait,
same.
why? Okay, wait. Why is there different buttons? Sorry, what was the purpose here of the different buttons?
Well, no,
The-
this is the standard version. Number one is what I'm playing around with using like some of this. This is all out of Davide's Mercury project
Mm,
to try and make it look good. So
make it look good,
he
yeah.
had some swatches set up for styling the fonts,
Mhm.
the buy button.
So where is the actual input? Is it the button stack, like, or the donation button stack?
Yeah, this is the whole thing that's controlling that. This here.
Okay.
So
But
basically,
that is just
that's
hold
Oh,
on, wait. So that is just a button, or is that also adding that number input in there for you?
right. Well, this bit is from the VibraCart
Uh-huh.
donation one.
no, but that's the slide on the side. That's not the actual button
Oh
at the
yeah,
bottom.
sorry.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the button.
Uh-huh.
So which is talking to VibraCart,
Yes.
and then basically when you hit that, you get this bit here, and I
Yes.
put that class in there to
Mm-hmm.
make it do that thing with this one.
Yeah, but that input where it says 5, the little number input, is that getting added by the stack, or are you adding
No,
that?
that's coming from Vibercart.
Oh, okay.
So I think
As
you're
far as
using
I know,
styles that are
because
pushing that
this
around.
text here comes from Vibercart.
Yeah.
It all comes from
See,
over, over
I
here.
I would just have a donate button, and when it pops up, you can then change the value in the cart, in the pop-up cart.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do in the first place, so they can put whatever donation they want in.
Hit please. What happens when you hit please donate? What happens when you press that button? All right, so it pops up. So in there, you can, because you have it set
Yeah, I've
to.
taken out the code, the discount code bit, because we don't want that.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it doesn't do anything because there's no stripe set up. I was just trying to get it the
Can you
style.
click? Can you click on the £5 there? Does that change? Oh, go back.
Oh.
The one major downside to Cartloom or ViberCart is its styles.
Yeah.
I do see it is very awesome. That is a one-time purchase e-commerce system, but I think it could
Yeah, I've
really
also got
really
it set
benefit
up for
from
only one
someone.
donation. So
Thing is you have full access to the CSS, and if you do swatches, you can go crazy. And
Yeah, but my thing is,
restyle
I just think the default styles out of the box. I understand it is just full CSS, and you can style the crap out of it
because
however you
for me,
want.
because the way for me, I look at it this way,
Oh, I have
and
2 people in the waiting room.
like if I look at it this way, if I go on my cart, like
Mhm.
I like that. It's simple. I don't find the stylings bad at all. If I go into
Yeah.
add something, if I go and add something to the cart, like I just styled the CSS, and
Yeah.
it looks nothing like the stock. And I agree, the stock is horrible.
I wouldn't call it horrible. I'm trying to be nice here. I mean,
Oh no, I just like
it could be made better.
It's dated.
Yes, there we go. Yes.
yeah, I can found a lot of the CSS bits for targeting things. Josh, I agree with you there. It's like the header, the whatever, the picture you've got there. That's
Well, there's actually the stock CSS file for ViberCart. There is a CSS file. So if you just go into ViberCart folder, there is a style, like a CSS with all your settings in there. So you can actually either change the code directly, or use swatches to target just to override what's in that sheet.
Yeah, I was looking at the snippets because a lot of it's in the snippets of code as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I would skip the snippets and go straight to the core CSS file and then modify it.
Whereabouts is that?
In the ViberCart folder.
Oh, actually in the folder that you put on your server. Sorry, yeah,
you put on the
I thought you
server.
were talking about the yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, just right in the root of that folder, there is the. Let me just figure out what it is.
I haven't looked too much in there because I was trying to learn a lot more about what I could do on the ViberCart bit and what I had to do over here. So, which is good.
I just had a thought. Earlier I said, I might do a updated site lock stack that does ViberCart and site lock. I could just rename it to Vibra Stacks or something like that. That way, when someone's like, "Go get the site lock stacks," and they're like, "Well, I have site lock," but then it might resolve the confusion of people purchasing my site lock stacks, thinking that it comes with site lock because it thinks site lock is my stacks, right? I mean, so if I have a completely different product name, which is something I wish I did when I originally did it, right? Yeah, because even though I've tried very hard, there's 10 disclaimers on the page. You have to buy for site lock. You got to buy site lock. This does not include site lock. I get some very angry emails when someone realizes they have to spend an extra $40 to get site lock. And I'm like,
you buy it once, you get it at our price after that. So that's all right.
I'm like, did you watch the video or read the first paragraph or the second or third? Did you read any of the product page? Uh,
Yeah, because I know Josh is about the only one who's done some nice styling on the cart thing. So-
and maybe if I ever go down that route, maybe I could do my version of how a shopping cart would be styled.
Yeah, so
That's one thing I
Master,
think
no,
like
Master
Cartloom's
Josh, not
cart
Scott.
is
I'm not
like
talking about Josh. Yeah, sorry.
I think that's really nice. I love Cartloom style. I think it's beautiful. I think
Hmm.
I think that is a very nicely styled cart.
For me, I think it's the integration with SiteLock, which is integrated so many things.
Oh no, I
Having
see the power is 100% there. I get it.
For me, it's more or less because I want a member area of my site to log into, and integrating that SiteLock for that with Cartloom would just make no sense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You have to jump through holes if it's not a totally integrated system now,
Yeah.
100%. I get it.
If I did not have the members area of my site, I'd probably Cartloom 100%.
And the other nice thing is Adrian is very accessible.
Yeah, Adrian is a great guy.
Yeah.
He has awesome support, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
actually
emailed
running a
him the
custom
question the other
version.
day, and 5 minutes later, boom.
Mhm.
Well, it
Like
helps you guys
same
are in the
time
same
zone.
time zone.
Yeah.
The rest of us, we're like, Joe messages him and it's already his evening. You won't get it till the next day.
Yeah.
No. I'm even running a custom version of ViberCart on one of my other sites because we did a custom modification that I needed, which I think he'll eventually update it as a feature.
Well, I know
So-
Chris Powers, he didn't use the stacks. He got Adrian to do it all with code for him on his site because he never got the stacks to work.
Well,
the ViberCart stacks?
Yeah.
yeah, I have no general issue with the ViberCart stacks. There is some problems though that you have to get around. So for instance, they have a configuration because of the way it is with the stacks. When you drag the configuration to set up ViberCart on your homepage and you enter your configuration settings and you publish, it puts the ViberCart folder inside of the index files of the homepage. And then when you first visit that page on your website, it will copy the ViberCart folder out of that. There's like PHP that runs and moves it back to where it's supposed to be. That's their way of getting around the stacks publishing limitation. And then you're supposed to go back to your homepage on your project file and delete the setup stack. And then you republish and you're good to go. Well, there's a glitch with the stacks that even though you remove the setup stack, when you republish again, it puts the ViberCart folder again in the index files. So now you have two of them. You'll end up with one in the index files and one on the homepage. And no matter how many times you republish all, it keeps bringing that secondary ViberCart folder back. You essentially have to delete the setup stack, save the project, quit the project, relaunch the project, republish, and that damn folder won't come back. And this only like escalates when you're doing something like I'm doing with Git publishing. It like messes everything up because I have ViberCart folder ignored, but ViberCart in the index files is not ignored because it's in a different spot. And so it shows up. And if you want it to be published, then moved, it's just a gong show. So the way I've been able to figure it out and make it work properly for me is I just spin up MAMP, I publish locally, preview the page, it moves the ViberCart folder to the spot it's supposed to be in, and then I manually move it because I have that Git ignores the ViberCart folder. And then once I have it in the place it needs to be, I delete the stack, close the project, republish all, verify that that folder doesn't come back, and then I disable MAMP and synchronize just the ViberCart folder over transmit. So it is a mess. But the stacks are nice because it's easy to just drag the stack onto the page to program it. I mean, like I have total CMS integration with VibraCart, so it's in the post page, and I put in my total CMS macros, and it will automatically pull the right product when you're viewing that product in total CMS. So the stacks are useful. The setup is painful and extra painful if you're doing Git.
Well, anyway, back to the other bit. Where's that file to look at for this thing?
Share your screen and FTP to your server, or show the VibraCart folder on your Mac or something like that. The one that you
What are you
uploaded
looking?
to the server.
What are you looking for?
He's looking for the CSS file.
Oh, it's mm, 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 mm.
I'm just opening it up.
It's called V. It's just vcpopup.css. That's the pop-up.
VC pop up.
.css. I think I have mine kind of. I've modified it in that CSS, which there's a lot in there, in that CSS file. And then I'm using some swatches that I've targeted to get like the border around the around the cart when it pops up.
I was just about to say, do you want to share some of them swatches by any chance?
I have to find them. Stacks
I've got a
Weaver
little list of
building of the site was
classes that I found.
the building of Stacks Weaver was such a long process.
And 2 different project files. There's loads of stuff in here. Oh yeah.
And
oh, it's
anyone
right
got
down
any
the bottom.
other
Yeah.
stacks questions that we can
That's
help out
there's
with?
there's a JavaScript one pop up.
Share your screen, David.
Yeah. Hold on. Go over there. Share.
Oh, Bruno's on the YouTube chat. He says he doesn't have vcpopup.css.
I've got.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So where's
Oh,
the
this one here. Sorry, found
there
it.
it is.
Got it.
Yeah. There's also what's VC embedded? Is there like an
That-
embedded version of the cart or something?
Yeah, so there's your pop-up cart, there's embedded in the page cart.
Mm.
Yeah, here, let me
What's the best thing to open these in?
probably like Code Runner or Visual Studio.
If you have Visual Studio Code, there you go. Yeah.
VS Code or
Lovely,
Why do you have 2 instances of VS Code installed in your machine?
Oh, I
Make sure
didn't
you only
delete
have
the
one.
old one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to delete the other one.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to. There, let me sorry. So on
Yeah, I didn't really want to play with some of them bits, but now you say you
Control.
can. It's good.
does he have a demo?
Oh, he's got a demo of the site. Yeah, hasn't he?
No,
this is-
yeah, so the embedded cart. So this is the pop-up.
Oh,
So when you
yeah.
add to cart, that's the pop-up.
Yep.
And then you have embedded, which would be like a cart spot that's on the page. So you can go add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, and it's embedded into the page.
You know, that could be nice as an off canvas, you know, like having your shopping cart on the
Oh yeah. That would be really nice actually. Then there's mini cart mode, which I believe is like that. And you go add to cart.
Oh, look at that. It even has the little thing that flops up to the cart. How cool. That's good.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Need to update the shopping cart icon though.
And then he has a Wimpy player, which I've never used, but allows you to, yeah, it actually is like, gives you media. Like you can have like song previews.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you, I don't know if this is going to play, I'm just going to mute that. So then you could actually like listen to the song and then you could actually add it to cart from the player.
Oh, nice.
Which is like really slick.
Cool.
Yeah. So those are the different cart options, and then there is a cart hover. I don't know. He doesn't have it on here. It's like this little button that shows up on the side.
Mhm.
I think he has it disabled,
Okay.
but
Yeah, the
there
one
is.
Adrian was talking about, because mainly it's just a donation button, and I know on Mercury he's got it so that you've got like products, but I wanted to do a button where it would have different amounts. You could just select the amount.
Yeah. So like, let me show you. Let me show you the site here that uses inside of the ViberCart item, the product. There is the ability to
Yeah, you can add that facility where it's,
you can add options.
yeah,
Um,
I saw that today. Yeah,
so let me show you. So here's an example of a membership site
share screen.
showing. Um, so in here you have the choice of choosing your membership. So 1 year, 6 months,
Oh,
or
yeah.
3 months. So you can choose your membership level, add to cart if it shows up in cart.
You broke
Oh,
it.
it's because I'm logged in as the admin. Admin, I have access to things I'm not supposed to see. Oh,
Oh, one password.
there you go. This should work. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, have limits on the cart, so you can't add more
Yeah,
than one
so I've
item.
done that. So that's only one item, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, this cart's running a special version because there was actually a glitch in his logic, and he fixed it on this one. Um, because it's meant to have only allow one product, like one item, but it wouldn't let you add multiple items, and so we fixed it because I think on one of the events you have to have the ability to buy 5 tickets, but it would only let you buy one ticket, even though it was set to have 5 limit. There was a logic glitch, but he fixed that.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to go. Is just have one button and then a selection of all the different donations that they want to have.
Yeah, and that's using the button stack,
Mm.
like fully customized. Like nothing special I did. I just added an option, selectable option.
Yeah, that's on the site, Fibercart bit.
It's on the ViberCart product page. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I just got to get the button working nicely so it looks pretty before I get that bit working. Because I don't really need a store because it's not really a store, is it? It's just donation buttons.
Yeah, same thing with like this. It's they purchase their membership on an account page, and then they can buy tickets on an event page.
Mm.
Sweet.
And this project has really good, what's really cool is a lot of people don't realize this. So inside of SiteLock, they have these email templates.
Mm.
Let me just get to that page before I share. There we go. So
Drag
you can get
one of Joe's email templates into it.
Oop. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't realize you can do that. So they have these email templates that are built in. So if I go to this template, this is actually using email stacks, and I put them into the email templates. So when new users sign on, they have to get approved. So the site lock will send an email to them saying, "Hey, like you signed up. These are the next steps." So the system automatically does all the emails, and I just made all of their emails with the email stacks, and it works like really nicely. So if you preview this for admin, they can show you what that email looks like with all the data in there.
Sexy.
It's beautiful, beautiful system. Because I think that's the new user, and I think if we load the new or pending user. Pending? No, not pending. Approve that one. So this is the one that comes like when you first sign up on the website. This is the email you get, and this email has animated GIFs. So they're actually in the email. It shows you how to sign up, and it's in the email, which is really cool.
Very nice.
Very slick looking emails.
Pretty.
So I have a question. I have a
Sure.
something I want to build. I don't have anything to show, but using a total CMS, I want to create a button using JavaScript that will put items, inject data into the CMS fields for the user. Will that work?
So you want to have a button that
Yeah.
will
So
inject
on the edit page,
pre-formatted data into a
total CMS field.
yeah, should be possible. I
Yeah.
don't see why it
Okay.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. I thought so. I haven't built it yet. So
If no one has any other questions, we can hack it together if you want.
no, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not. What I want to build is a list of articles. So, you know, you go get the URL for an article, you put it into a field, you press the button, it'll go get the all the information about it, you know, the publishing, whether it's on
Mm-hmm.
block to a service, get that, put it into
Got
the thing,
Okay.
and then save that. So I got most of the idea down, but I'm gonna play with it.
All right. Yeah, I
That
mean
sounds very
every total CMS field, I mean it's just a normal form field. So you just
Right.
do a get element by name,
Yeah.
and then you know you put in the name of whatever the total CMS form field is, and then you can just do a dot value equals and then whatever you want to inject, and you know now the person will still have to click save to save that data, but
Right.
that
Right.
would
That's
inject
fine.
it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's all good.
I do have a question about listing phone numbers on a website.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was I have a nonprofit that I do a website on DreamHost, and we were considering about putting a telephone number. I was considering a screen behind another screen that if they want the telephone number, they would have to go through the screen to get that. I don't know if that's even possible with anything we have.
What do you mean by going through another screen to get that?
Well,
Explain.
sometimes like a drop down or something like that. I've seen different scenarios of information that's laid out, and I'm not really certain if it's even possible. Um, I would to even put the telephone number on there, or just put a blanket on there.
So I mean, yeah, I mean there is you can put a telephone and you can make it so if a user clicks it, it'll actually call them as well. So you know that makes it very convenient. Um, but I'm still unsure on what you mean by so you want to hide the phone number initially and you only want to display it if they click through onto something.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so like if you don't want to physically display the phone number, you just want to have like call me now, and then you click on the button and then that would call the person. Is that correct?
That would work, I would think.
Okay. So if you're using Foundation 6, there's a telephone button. And I think there is, isn't there? Yes, there's a telephone button. Yes. And so you don't need to display the phone number in the button. Okay. So you can make the button. Oops. Here, let me share my screen so we can see. Okay. So here's the telephone button. And the button can say whatever you want. You could say, you know, call me now. Okay. and then you put the telephone number in here, and whenever someone clicks on this, it'll call them.
Okay. I think there were I got Foundation 6, but that's okay. I'll look for
Okay.
that.
Yep.
Oh, it says
Yeah, I knew you had
sandbox.
Foundation 6, so that's why I recommended that.
It says sandbox in the bottom top. Is that just the project file you put out there?
I mean, it's just this is just my test project that I use for various things. You just add the telephone button to the page. That's it. There's really nothing else to it. Just add the telephone button to the page, and then you can change the button label. So here I just said, "Call me," right? And then you change the phone number to be whatever you like.
What's this called?
Okay.
Okay.
How does that work on desktop?
So if you're on a Mac, it'll open up FaceTime and call. And also I think FaceTime on Mac now asks you if you want to call via your phone as well, I think. If you have an iPhone.
Okay.
Not sure what happens on Windows. Did anybody have a Windows machine that they use and they've clicked the call me button? I don't know what Windows does. I'll be honest.
And
I mean, this doesn't use anything tricky. It's, I mean, linking to a telephone number is standard HTML. So I would assume that since it's been standard for probably 10 years now or more, that a Windows machine does do something with that information. What I don't know.
I think it displays buy a Mac.
It says go buy a Mac, yeah.
That'd be a neat one, but okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I think if you go to the Foundation Stacks demo, I probably have a demo of it. Although I don't have a valid telephone number, I'm not putting my telephone number on this for obvious reasons.
Well, I get that.
Speaking about that, do you have any idea why, Joe, the share sheet doesn't work in Chrome?
Probably because it doesn't support it. It only works on supported browsers. So, yeah, Chrome doesn't support the share sheet. So yeah, funny enough, I'm in Arc and I actually just clicked on that when you said that, and yeah, it doesn't
And
support
the
the share
worst part
sheet.
is like when you click the link one, because the one share sheet hides automatically, the left icon disappears. That doesn't show at all.
It doesn't
But
show
the
at all because
button,
it's
when you
not
click it,
supported. Yep,
yeah, but the button on the right side shows, and when you click it, it just reloads the page.
it reloads the page. Yeah, and I think that's just probably
Is
because
there any?
I think I used a link button and I linked to the current page. So
Yeah, it does the
yeah.
same thing on my other site where I used a QR code with the share sheet functionality, and then it does the same thing, and you click it, it just reloads. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do stuff. Now that I've discovered that, I'm thinking that I'm going to need to detect if it's a Chromium browser with agent and swap out the link for something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Good to know. I just didn't know that it didn't. I've never even tested it in Chrome.
If he
But it works
here,
so
I'll show
nice
you
on
what he's
iOS.
talking about. Here, I'll open up Safari and I'll go to foundationstacks.com/demo. Go to buttons. And we go to share sheets. Okay, you'll see that there's two demos here. And if I click on this bad boy here, it opens up the share sheet. And if I click on this button, it opens up a share sheet, right? But let's go to that demo. And I'm in Arc, which uses Chrome. Okay, the Chrome WebKit. The share button over here just doesn't display at all. And the reason for that is I forget exactly how I built this demo, but it knows that the share sheet isn't supported, so it doesn't show it. Okay. But this is just a normal link button with the share sheet option ticked. And the button still shows because the button's still valid, but it just reloads the page. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not much I could do. Yeah, because Chrome doesn't support the share sheet. I don't know if that's even a possibility. I don't know. I know that Arc, if you go up here, it has a share sheet here, but I'm assuming this is like a part of the OS, and I don't know why they can't integrate it into the web page. I don't know. Kind of sucks. You'd think something like that would be possible. I don't know. I mean, that's just a web API, so I'm assuming that they could integrate that into the OS share sheet because Safari does it. And I know there's docs on how to do that, but I can't do that. It's something Chrome has to do. So anyway. But what was I was we were gonna do telephone numbers. I wanted to see if there's I don't think I have a telephone number example in here, actually. I don't. So sorry.
So couldn't you just make up a telephone number and see how it redirects out or what?
Oh, you want me to show you how it does it? Here.
Well, I mean, I mean, I get that. I just thought maybe you had something else that you had in mind.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, you just I have no idea what that phone number is, but right.
That's
If I
my
just
number.
right, if I click on call me, it's gonna do you want to open up FaceTime, right? And it'll call that number with FaceTime. And if you did this on the phone, it would launch the telephone app and call you straight from the, but you can't see the phone number here, right? Another thing you could do is not many people use button groups, okay? But you can use a button group as well. And in here, you can add all the various types of buttons. So like you could add a telephone button to here as well. And this one would be a call me now. Okay. And
Want a hot massage?
yeah, same thing, right? So
So do WhatsApp as well.
yep, you could do WhatsApp. WhatsApp supports some sort of linking system, yeah. You just put the URL. I would use it in a link button and then use whatever
Yeah.
WhatsApp's URL scheme is. All right. Let's put all these. Something I did today, or no, I did it yesterday. Sorry, yesterday is I created this. There's a system called Sentry, and it basically allows me to collect errors and logs from my application. So in Total CMS 3, I integrated with this so that if there's any application crashes or issues, it's kind of like a crash reporter. Like if you have an app and it crashes and it says, do you want to send the crash report? Right. It's sort of similar to that, where if Total CMS runs to any issues, it'll log the error up here. That way I can have a centralized thing. And I can fix bugs without even maybe you knowing that there was a bug. Right. So kind of cool. So I was pretty happy. That'll be in the next beta. Another thing I did yesterday was I created collection forms. And so what this is let's say you wanted to create a blog that was not named blog, okay, which is something you can't do right now easily in Total CMS 3. So you could just do like I want to call this new blog, okay? And we want to say that this new blog is a blog, so we define it a blog schema, and then you can give it a URL, which is like, I don't know, total cms test / post. Okay. And then you can type in your description, whatever. And yeah, so that will then create a new blog that you can then have as many blogs as you want, right? So it allows you to create new collections based on existing schemas or custom schemas. I haven't made the forms for creating custom schemas yet. But yeah, this is all done. It's working. It's pretty cool. If you're curious what the URL here is, so, in Total CMS 1, we have like the blog post URL that you have to like preview the blog post page. and then save that light box that no one or half the people never do when they're new because they never preview the page or something. That's what this is basically. It allows you to when you create the collection initially, you have to give it or you don't have to, but you can save a URL along with it so that this URL is used for like when you generate sitemaps or RSS feeds or even when you're linking in a blog list, this URL will be used if it's defined. So there we go.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is it a possibility that one of the stacks that you have, or even someone else that had, could there be a possibility to have a 3D image like of a map? Say, for instance, someone presses some conditions like I mentioned a long time ago about the puzzle map and the call to action, but this would be okay if they ask 3 different questions. The call to action would pop up a particular type of map. It would be a static map. It wouldn't be something on GPS that you could find, but it would go to a 3D image instead of a flat image of your of a location. Is that
Mm-hmm.
something that can be done? I don't know. I don't have a demonstration of thing.
Um, can you, let's see, in my Google Map stack, can you do, I know Google supports 3D images, but I don't think you can force it that view by default. I don't think. Let's have a look.
I mean,
Let's
I
see if
have
we
that
got
too.
to, uh, let's see. Well, you have Street View, but I don't think that's what you want, right? You want like the 3D
Right.
overhead.
Yeah. Yeah. 3D image is something. Say, for instance, I mean, the places that I'm
Yeah.
traveling doesn't have a lot of internet or GPS. And so one way to do is ask questions, interact with the customer. This is where you are. This is what you want to see in a general standpoint and not just very specific like the GPS would do, but it would give you an
Mhm.
idea where you are. And then you can narrow it down to where you are from the map that you're given. I said, ask this question. Then you narrow it down to, oh, this is where you are instead of anywhere else. Because if that stuff is shaky, like in the middle of a parking structure, if it's shaky, this will give you where you are from the questions you ask in the interaction with the customer.
Mm. I'm not, yeah. Yeah, talking about parking structures, that's different because I mean, at that point you have like, what level are you on? Stuff like that. I mean, yeah,
That would be a question to ask. What
yeah.
level? If it's a different color for every level,
Yep.
and if you say, okay, what do you see? And ask those questions. What do you see? Okay, that narrows it down to where you are.
Hmm.
And so if
I
you
mean, what's
narrow
the
it
use
down,
case? I mean, asking people and having them type in answers to a question that could take time, you know?
well, here's the
Um,
thing. Here's the thing. The interaction that keep people engaged, that's the only way you would have to keep them engaged. I would even say, okay, where are you? If they're really interested in where they are, they'll look it up. If not, they'll
mhm.
keep going. But if you find, say for instance, if you find your car, well, it could be in this section, but if you narrow it down, you can say, okay, you're here instead of this entire place. Well, what do you see? You see blue? Do you see this? Do you see a staircase? You see an elevator?
Mm.
And it narrows it down every time they answer a question instead of a general statement. You
Oh,
really,
so you need to be able to like not only you can't really just use GPS of where they're at. You need to like analyze the actual contents of a map to help them pinpoint where they are.
yeah.
I don't know how to do that, dude. I don't know I don't know if that's possible. There's
Yeah.
definitely not a stack for that.
I I
I don't
I,
know if
I
there's a service for that. I don't know.
I found something similar. I was talking to somebody and they said you can do something that would, I think it was Archer, Site Archer.
I mean, the problem with that is, you know, I mean, maps are only as good as the last time they were, the pictures or satellite images were taken, you know? And roads change, buildings are painted, um, you know, stuff like
And the
that. So
knockdown.
that is, yeah, I mean,
But
something like that, I can't even see it being possible, based on querying a map for that data, because the maps, they'll never be always up to date.
well, I mean, inside of instruction, not outside. Outside is a different story altogether. But inside, where that stuff is limited,
Uh-huh.
uh, you want to ask questions and narrow down where you are. Because outside, that's a different story. Because I see those Google and Ford and collecting
Yeah.
data outside, but they're not going to do that inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm.
And so you replace the outside to put something inside to take its place if they're interested.
Mm.
Sounds like mall navigation.
You said mole navigation?
Mall, as a shopping mall.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen Google have offline maps, but I have not seen that sort of application anywhere.
You might have to
I have
walk
not
around,
either.
and you might have to walk around with your phone, get the GPS location of every place you want, and then manually do it.
Well, yeah, the whole idea about the asking questions is that it will take the place of the GPS because the GPS might show up, but it might not inside of a mall.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know there are some technologies for that, but I just can't think of, like, they were working on indoor navigation using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and some other technologies. Like, I remember there was a time when you could go into Google Maps and go inside of a building or, you know, a mall or something like that, and it would show you around
I
in
know
there
that
as well.
there
But
was something called Beacon that would do some
yeah,
advertising that would for advertising, but I don't know if it's you can reverse that. And that would take cost of devices into account to do that. Again, those companies that want to participate would pay for that device.
Yeah.
Um, so there'll
I mean,
be a
if you're
cost.
doing this for a very specific location, you could devise questions that had static answers that
Yeah,
you could determine someone's location. Like, okay, you know, are you, if you look right, do you see this or this? Right. And then based on that, you kind of know, okay, these are the 4 or 5 locations. Then the next question, okay, now do you see this or this? Right. So you could, I don't think getting to the level of someone typing in an actual answer, I think would be difficult. But maybe if you were to have static answers, and based on those static answers, you led sort of like a choose your own adventure book, right? Where you know, you read a page and you're like, do you want this to happen or this to happen? And go to this page or this page, right? So yeah, and then you could potentially build something like that with what's Scott's brancher, F6 brancher,
Mm.
right? Where based on the
Genius.
answers of form fields, you could take them down one branch or another, right? So
right,
you could build a static logic, as long as you knew the possible answers.
right. Yeah,
But
those
again, that entire branch or that entire tree would be very specific to that particular location.
right.
And if you want to know how to use that, you need to look at a thing that Joe and Josh done a while ago, because he explained how to use Brancher quite well.
Actually, I think it was Chris. I think Chris
No,
did
you done
a.
one with we done what you done with one with Josh, and he went into a bit of Brancher,
Oh
and
yes, that's
that
right. I think that
explanation
was on a
actually
live
helped me a hell of
stream.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a live
I
stream,
saw
and
that.
Josh
Yeah,
did an overview of Brancher. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was really helpful. That was, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what
Chris did a. He actually built a build your own adventure style web page using Brancher, which was kind of fun.
Did he?
Chris Powers, yeah, he did. I'm not sure. I know he. I think he published it.
I'd like to see that one. I'll have to message him.
Yeah, he did like it was like a whole story, and based on your answers, it did different things. I think he did it during the beta to help Scott test it out. It was pretty cool.
What was that called?
Zork.
F6 Brancher. It's from stacksappstacks.com.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I have that. But the thing that Chris had done, I talked to him a couple of times.
It wasn't a product. He created a project file. I don't know if he published it. I don't know if he has it anymore. But if you ping him, maybe he'll still have it and
I'll
send
WhatsApp
it
him in a
over.
minute.
Are you sure it wasn't called Zork?
Yes, it was. It was Zork. That's right. Yes, Bill remembers. Thank you. I'm not going crazy. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
Zork
that's-
game. That's what it was. Yeah, it was like the game Zork. And yeah, okay, yep.
Oh,
Now-
Zork. Oh, great.
Joe, I have a suggestion for you, and it's actually polite if you like.
sure.
I want CMS free one.
Excuse me. I've been playing with the Total CMS 3 demo that you last sent. And something that would be helpful to me, and I'm sure to the rest of the world that's at my level at some point, would be a slightly more simple example on the custom things. Like you've put things in loops, and that adds another
Yes.
variable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I admit that I need to revisit that because since I've made that, I've made more simple stacks. So yes, that demo, in my defense, I warned that custom stuff wasn't ready yet. So yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying what does work is harder for me to debug and say, okay, what can I do to sort of match this
Sure.
when I can't get a hold of the basic.
Yep. I will so I've actually split beta 3 into 2 now. So I was going to do full custom collections in beta 3. I've split it. You're going to get half of it now. What I just showed right now, where you can create your own, like a new blog instance, creating a new collection, that will be beta 3. Beta 4 will then split out and have the actual custom collection, the schema generation. The reason I'm splitting that up is the schema thing is going to take a little longer, and I want to get at least this part out to you guys, hopefully this week, actually.
Nice. So something to play with while you're working on the next bit.
Exactly. So that way I have this part done. I'm going to ship it out. I'll also make sure my to do today is to create and fix galleries and blogs, because I know that's broken. So I will fix that. And I have one more goodie that I want to try to do that I'm not even going to splurge right now. Maybe on Friday, if you join us Friday, I'll show it off. Something that I'm going to surprise you guys with. I think you're going to really love it. Show the power of what Total CMS can do for us. So yeah, the custom schema is going to come in the future in beta 4. And mostly that has to do because I realized that something I delayed until beta 5, I have to bring it into this to finish the custom schemas. So it's going to be a lot more work than I was anticipating. So yeah, the beta 3 is going to be split. So then this next one, again, custom collection, collection creation, not custom collection creation, but collection creation, and a few other bugs fixes, and then we'll get custom schemas. But with that said, I can look at the demo file and try to make or modernize that custom collection pages in the demo file to make it at least using the latest stacks and what I would see be usable for when we do have custom collection creation. Okay.
Yep. Now, what I'm hoping you're hearing from me is simple is better.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put a demo thing and then you throw a loop around it,
yeah,
that just adds another level of data hiding that
it does.
Just makes it a little bit harder to get really moving along on the very basic. I mean, we want to go there.
Yep. But now, have you played with the new blog looping or feed looping stacks? Have you played around with those?
Not as much as just trying to make my own little form that's made up of the individual objects and which ones are working for
Okay.
me and which ones I'm having
Yeah,
trouble with.
yeah, you're trying to get that custom collection form done, right?
Well,
Yeah.
a little bit, but I'm not
Mhm.
trying to add anything that isn't in the box. I'm not trying
Yes.
to do I'm not trying to do two blogs, for
Now,
instance.
did you create well, but you're trying to do a custom collection, right? With your own form, with your own field names, correct?
Mm, yes.
Yes, because I know you're trying to create something that has two images, correct? Image one and image two.
I did that. That's sort of past, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do, remember we Friday we found a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't in my palette.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to play with some of those.
Okay.
And some of the very basics are just sort of hidden in terms of like where does post go, where does ID go, where does
Mhm.
like, just the syntax is hidden from me a
Sure.
little bit because you throw that object loop in or that form loop in.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm just thinking if you go way back to here's how you're going to throw a text field in, just a text field
Yep.
on
So,
both the post and the admin page.
yep. So let's go through the blog setup, okay? And then we'll try to relate that to the custom setup. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a blog list. Okay, this is the blog list page. I don't know what I even have. Does this even display anything? Okay, I do have some blog posts in here. Okay. So this creates this layout. Okay. And so I have a block grid. Okay, and inside that block grid, I have a blog loop or a loop blog. Okay. And all I have to do is I give it the collection that I want to loop through, which is my blog. Okay. All these others, all these other settings are just little things that you can copy paste to make your life a little bit easier. Okay. These are just sample macros. Okay. Now, inside the blog loop, okay, it creates an instance of this block grid cell for each instance of the blog. Okay. So inside this block grid cell, here we'll do a side by side here. There we go. All right, cool. There we go. Look at that. We can get fancy here. All right. Here we can turn that off. All right. So this overall block grid is the entire block grid. This is looping through and it's creating a block grid cell for each blog post. So it's going to, each of these block grid cells is a blog post. Okay. Now, let's look at inside this. So here we have the object link stack. Okay. This allows you to easily create a link to the object page. Okay. So in this case, if I click on these, the read more button, right, or the image up here, it will link to that blog post page. Okay. And so this is really easy. This makes it a lot easier than what we had before. Before you had to create your own link stack and then you had to link to the ID and all that bullshit. Okay. And this will actually be even easier in the next version, in the next beta, because here you have to link to the page. And while I'll have that as an option, by default, it'll just link to whatever you is the saved link for that collection. Okay. So it'll even be easier in the next version. Okay. But here you give it what is the object ID, and here the object ID is a variable, so it's post.id. Okay, and we know that if you don't know how you found that out, it's right here, right? Post.id. Okay, and post.id is actually the default value here because that's most likely going to be what it is. Okay, and because Bill, if you didn't know, this loop, remember in the normal loop stack, actually, if we go into, sorry if this might confuse anyone else. If we go to a normal loop stack, you had to like create what the variable is, right? So here it could be object or post or whatever you wanted it to be. Okay. Let me put that back so that's the same as it was before. Okay. These new loop stacks that I created, okay, it just defaults to post. You can't even change it. It's gonna be post. You have no choice. Okay. So that way I know it's always going to be post.id, post.author, post.categories, post.content, blah, 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 blah. Right. So that I know that every instance of this is always going to be post ID is the ID, and so on and so forth. So, okay, getting back to it. So we have the ID. All I do is I link to my blog post page, okay, which you just use the link tool and browse to the actual post page. And then you can define where you want it. Current window is going to be the default, okay, and that's really it. So really, you just need to set the link and you set your ID. And the ID is the default value of this is most likely going to be what you want. Okay. Now, and then we have the image stack, which I think you've played around with enough. And hopefully the new use variable settings here are, I think they're awesome. I like how they are. I don't think we're going to change it from this because I think it's very usable. Okay. So we define the ID is post.id, and then we have the collection of blog property image. And this will bring in, as you see over here, these are the images for these blog posts. And then below this, we just have our header. I just have a header stack. And if I want the title, I just put post.title. In the header down here, I want the date. And if you look in here, I just copied and pasted these examples directly from here. So this is post.date. And then we want to format it a particular way so we can pass it the format that we want the date to be in. And then below that, I want to output my summary. Okay, so and we do that. And again, this macro here is copy and pastable directly from the blog loop stack. Okay, and then I have a container and then a button. Now this is an object button. Okay, so you don't even need to use a button stack and then need to know how to link and all that stuff. So this object button is exactly the same as the object link, where you just give it the ID. Again, the default value here of post.id is most likely going to be what it should be. You can give it the link to the page, just as we did in the object link stack. And then you give it a button label, obviously. So, and that is kind of how things will work in blog. Okay. Any questions there?
Looks good.
Okay. Now on the blog post page, okay, so this is the page that loads all of the data. So when I click on one of these, right, it takes me to that particular page, okay, for that blog post. Now in here, what I need to do is I need to load the object, okay? So I use the object loaded stack, or the object stack. And you say what collection is getting loaded, and then you give it a variable name, okay? It's possible that I could create something that is similar to that, just default names the variable for you, but you could just keep the default, which actually I think the default is object, okay? But, and then down here, same thing for the image. We just load in the image. We give it the ID, which is post.id. And it's post because we said the variable name was going to be post here. Okay. And then, it is from the collection blog and the property is image. And that's the image that will get loaded, which is over here. And then same thing down here. If I want to load the title, the date. Now here I'm loading the content instead of the summary because the content is available on the blog post page, but it's not in the blog list, right? Because not everything is available in the collection index. And then, yeah. So pretty much the same thing. We're not looping, right? Here we're just loading in a specific object and assigning it explicitly to a variable called post. And I can then access all the data through the same exact macros as we did on the list page. Any questions there?
Yeah, a little one that's probably off
Okay.
topic, but on
Sure.
that particular page where you put the word post in,
Mm-hmm.
is that something that you could, if you wanted to go off the beaten path, change it to Fred, and if you did it in
Yes.
every instance,
Yep.
it would work?
Yeah. Yep. You
Okay.
could do stamp, and then here, but now here you would have to do, you'd have to reference the ID here is now stamp.id,
Okay.
right? So you'd have to make sure that, and then here would be stamp.title, stamp.date, right? Here I'm giving you a blog, so the term post makes sense, right? But for you, you would use, stamp or whatever your nomenclature is.
Sure. So because that's a single instance, we don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. We don't need to worry about, oh, and also I do have to say that it is important that you do this load from URL. Okay. And the reason you do this is because the ID is loaded from the URL.
Okay.
Okay. So, and if we look at this over here, we see that we have the ID, okay, is loaded via the URL here.
That was one that on the read more button.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's fun.
So I could go over this to show you how I would potentially change things. So here we have the normal loop stack. Now, to be honest, we'll probably have to keep for custom collections, you'll have to use the loop because I don't know a lot about what your data is. So I don't, but it's not too difficult, right? You would put in your here, I'm just going to do stamps collection, okay? Because I know you're going to use stamps and your loop through instead of you're just going to you're going to name it each instance will be called a stamp. Okay. So we're going to loop through all the objects inside the stamps collection, and then we're going to inside each loop give it the stamp variable. Right. So what that means here, now I could, instead of this link container, I would then use the object link stack, which is in the content helpers, I think. Yeah. So I would use object link. Okay. So object link, and then here I would do we're using stamp, not post. So here would be stamp.id. Okay. And then I would link to my oh, well, this one doesn't have a page. You would then link to your individual object page. I don't have one created in this demo file yet. Okay.
Okay.
But you would do that. You would link just like you would link the blog. Okay. And then here, and then you would add in your content here. So I would add the image inside the object link. And then this would obviously be, instead of object.id, it would be stamp.id. Oh, and we need to change this. We need to get rid of this because I fixed this stack, right? And variables are used in the object. So now that will bring in our stamp.
Right?
I'm sorry?
And the collection was stamps.
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay.
Stamps. Yeah. And property is, I'll keep it as image, but you could name the property something other than image. Okay.
Right.
And then then I had both of them inside the link container. So then here, instead of object.name, you would do stamp.name. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense, Joe. That'll give me some stuff to wrestle with between now and Friday.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, this object link stack, I think, is a big help, because that link container, while it's possible, this object link stack makes it much easier.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't played with that.
Cool. And like I said before, this form stack can be completely gone now. It's a factory, right? If you really wanted that, you could add in a factory stack, and then you'd give it your collection, how many you wanted to generate when you click the button, and there we go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to play with the factory stack because I haven't been able to make it work yet. But I think it's my setup. I don't think it's functionality at all.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't tested it with the custom collection, but it should work. It does work with blog and feed right now. So yeah.
The other thing I was doing is the stuff at the bottom. There's some twig variables at the bottom of your total CMS 3 stacks.
Yes.
uh, in the black area here near the bottom.
In the black area. Oh, these down here?
No, over to the left. Oh,
Over.
you just closed the library. I'm sorry.
Oh,
in the
oh,
library.
it's in the library. Got it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So I was trying to do some of those conditionals. Yeah, the conditional one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And what I'm managing at this point is to make it not work. Like if I put in a else logic, I'm getting exactly what I expect when my question is wrong. So I can't figure out yet how to make the question right, which brings me back to my original some simple stuff like what is a valid question for me to be asking there that I can get a yes answer to see the
Sure.
So
something, I mean, I made this quite advanced where you put in, you have to put in the correct syntax here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I changed it to not equal and I get what I want. Like I know that I'm asking the wrong question and I'm getting the right answer to the wrong question.
Got it. Okay. Yep. So yeah, with this, probably one thing I would like to do is maybe come up with find out what people want the most in a conditional, and then maybe make a more user-friendly version of that for the simple situations that people want most of the time. Okay. But
sure.
I do like this stack, and I'm not going to remove it because I think it's powerful. Yeah. But yeah, I'd have to know your specific condition to help you.
I was just playing with an A/B switch that was like I was trying to do something like, if this field is empty, then there's nothing here, else there is something here, and here it is.
Okay.
I was just doing some simple logic stuff to get a feel for.
Yep. What's kind of cool is if we go to the Twig docs, we go to if, okay. There is a bunch of, now if you just want to do, if a field is empty, okay, let's say like, I'm just going to do object.text. Okay. And let's say, if it has content or if it doesn't have content, you could just have just that. So basically what this will do is, here, just put in like, oops, I wanted pink, here it is. Right. Okay. So in this case, on this, this won't work in my project right now, but just as an example, basically I could just say if object.text. And what that does by itself, it checks whether or not it's empty or has some content in it, right? So if this is empty, then basically it will go to the else rule. But if it has content, it will just display has content. All right, you can even do like has content and then object.text.
Okay.
Right? So it
display it if it's not empty.
Yeah, exactly. So now by default, if something is empty and you put a macro, it just has empty anyway. But in this case, let's say if it has content, I want to put this with, I don't know, some other content underneath it. I don't know, right?
Sure.
Yeah. But maybe, and then in the else rule, maybe you don't want a header because you don't want to have an empty header on the page. Maybe at that point you want to have, maybe you make this a paragraph instead. Okay. And then you just say, sorry, buddy, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if there is content, then we can display it in a header, else just, have a paragraph instead that says, sorry, buddy. All right. But the if documentation on the Twig site is pretty decent. It shows quite a few examples. Okay. And also it kind of gives you a little notes on how things are evaluated to be true or false. Right. So if you see here, empty string. So if object.text is an empty string, that results into a false evaluation. Right. Now,
Okay.
conversely, if you have if you have a string that is 0, okay, so let's say object.text contains the string of just 0. That's the only thing it contains. That will actually also evaluate to false. Okay. So,
Okay.
a little edge case to be, so not just empty strings, but the string of 0 will also be false. Okay.
So it's basically doing a cast to the Boolean, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, what I was trying to do was to sort of inquire about some of the other elements in the blog list or in on the page I was building. So I didn't have to, I knew what should make it false or should make it true, except that I couldn't grab a hold of.
Now you can, let's say you wanted to explicitly test for empty, because maybe 0 is a possible valid value. You could do if foo is empty. Right. So you could do stuff like that. So in here, I could do object.text is empty. Okay. And at that point, 0 would evaluate to true because, at that point, 0 is not empty. Does that make sense?
Evaluate to false?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It would evaluate to false. My bad.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. You could also, I believe you could also do is not empty as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was just doing the typical C++ conditionals with equal sign and a double equal sign and a exclamation mark equal sign.
Yep.
And I was trying to access one of the fields and have a comparison to a literal in it. So
okay.
If
so
the
you
text
wanted like to
contained
do
stamp or it was
if
stamp,
object,
then it,
double, it's double equals, and then inside quotes you would be, my example or whatever, right? So at that case, this would be, explicitly now object.test, it needs to be exactly my example.
yes.
It can't be capital M's, right? It can't be anything like that. It needs to be exactly that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Joe. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Hi, Joe.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever used the progressive web apps where you were able to export another type of file. I understand that progressive web apps because it does a number of different things that as I've studied. And you can view a website that's offline, but can the one that you have produce a file that I can place someplace else other than on a phone or on a desktop? I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, if I wanted to make a mobile app, I know that some of the apps can be used on mobile because they shape for the display. But if there's a way to make a different type of file that, say, for instance, I could use a file output that I could put in a mobile app that I could develop into an app that you could push up to the app stores as a progressive web app. Are you familiar with how that file would be?
I don't know. So my stack just uses the progressive web app features that are built into browsers. Okay. So that now I do not know all the ins and outs of what you would need to do to make that then publishable to an app store. I know for Apple, you would have to have Xcode, and then you'd have to actually, I mean, it's more than just, I have a website that's a PWA. Let me push it to the App Store. There's a lot more involved in that. A lot more. And I don't know the ins and outs. It's something that I would love to eventually do or learn how to do. But my to-do list is so long. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it or when I will. And I believe it potentially might be easier on an Android to get in the App Store. But again, I don't know the details for that.
Yeah, I think Android, you can get an app on there quick. With Apple, it takes months for them to allow it.
Yes.
And test. Yeah.
But it also sounded like you wanted to use something like what's behind like Evernote. Evernote uses, I can't remember what the framework name is, but it's basically just HTML, CSS, and other stuff. And
Yeah, a lot of apps on the App Store
yeah,
are just pure HTML and CSS. Yeah.
right. So
Yep.
that's how you would do what you're looking for. You got to go find the framework, and I forget what it's called.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there.
Hey, I was looking at your video for Audio Pro, your new video,
Mhm.
and just so I haven't bought it or anything, but I noticed that when you choose what type of audio you're playing,
Yes.
the label says image.
Oh, it does? Oops. Thanks. You know, times I looked at that, totally overlooked that one.
Yeah.
You can look at something over and over again, and it's easier to miss if someone else
Exactly.
finds it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times when I start from a setting, I just like, oh, I know this setting
Right.
that I have in this other stack is similar. I just copy paste it and modify the values. And thanks.
Yeah.
Just a quick one, Joe, because I know it's not a Friday or anything. On Davide's Speak project now,
Mhm.
in normal CMS, I know like I've got on my one and another one,
Mhm.
I can find everything, like where you do the pretty URLs and everything. On his one, I can't even see that.
Wait, so on in his project, he doesn't have pretty URLs set up.
Well, in the CMS core on the admin I just can't find it. It just
Oh, you can't find it to set the pretty URLs?
yeah, I can't.
Oh.
I've done every little tick box, just can't find it. Every other thing I've used, it's there.
Yeah.
I've got a list of things that I was going to ask you Friday, and I just remembered.
Yeah. That particular, I don't have that project. I don't think I have that project.
Yeah, no, I'll show you it's I've got it up on the screen. See now that's the CMS core.
Mm-hmm.
That's the content side, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, and then if we go to the admin one, which is over here.
Oh, well, yeah, there's the admin core. Yeah.
That's it.
Now the pretty URLs though is set on the blog post stack.
Ah, yeah, I was looking at the blog, not the blog post. Good point. Yeah.
Yes. So, probably under content, maybe there blog post up. The first stack in there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. And then pretty URL, it's set to default. So then you would need to set that to be pretty and then preview the page and do all that stuff you need to do, set up pretty URLs.
Yeah. I knew I was looking, I was just looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I got all that Agent Lang stuff. My head's been.
Yeah. So I like how I set this up for, in CMS 3. I think that whole process is going to be easier. So yeah. Cool. Well, guys, anything else? I know we've gone almost 2 hours now. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Any other questions? I'm happy to stay on and help anybody else. Else we'll call it a day.
I'm going to go and play with what Josh said, that CSS thing.
Oh, cool.
Just one tiny little question, Joe.
Sure.
And this is not a trick. And I can't find it, but somewhere I saw when you click on the show blog macros.
Yeah.
Am I right that you should never see a set of curly braces, like open, close, curly brace with nothing in it?
I don't know if that would be valid or not. I mean, in my stuff, I don't think I would. Oh, you mean like when you're doing the build macro stuff?
No, I'm just whatever you're doing, anytime. As you know, I like to have that macro on all the time, just so I'm seeing, excuse me, what I'm seeing. And if I had that on and I came to a situation where one of the parameters was curly brace open, brace closed with nothing inside it.
Mhm.
I'm assuming there's a problem there.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll dig further, but I just wanted that reference. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No problem. Excellent. Well, guys, I think we'll call it a day.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank
Well,
you,
Have a
guys.
good week. See you Friday.
Take care. See you guys Friday. Bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers, mate.
I'll see you tomorrow, Sean.